I didn't want to wake up one day and regret not taking advantage of the freedom that I had at this age. I remember my friend and coworker Josh Gray was showing me this amazing photo of the Kirkjufell mountain, and I remember getting instantly stoked on how epic and dramatic the landscape of Iceland was. I told Josh that I didn't have the money for the trip. I basically came up with every excuse of why I shouldn't go. Moving forward a couple months, I'm at my buddy Aaron's house. I'm sitting on the couch, and I just thought to myself, I should just buy the ticket. Next thing I know, I bought my ticket. I'm calling up my buddy Jordan, who I've known since junior high. We were roommates in 2014. I'm calling him up and I'm like, dude, do you want to do something crazy? I told him I was going to Iceland in May and that I think he should come with. And the next thing I know, he's up in Bellingham at my house. We're laying out all our gear on the back porch to do a gear dump, and then driving Jordan down to the airport. And on the next day, me driving down for my flight.
It's getting real now. Good evening and welcome aboard. This is Delta Airlines flight number 470. We are non-stop service for Reykjavik. Flying time this evening is 5 hours. Takeoff to touchdown.
Jordan flew in on May 6th, and I flew in on May 7th. The plan was to meet at SADCARS at 8 a.m. But what we didn't realize is that they have two locations approximately 45 minutes away from each other. After a couple hours of waiting, we met up, went to Subway, then hit the road, driving about 4 hours to reach Vic. It's normally about a 2.5 hour drive, but of course we had to stop and take photos.
Waterfall 1 in the books.
Vik is a village along the southern coast of Iceland that lies directly beneath the unpronounceable word glacier. This glacier sits on top of the Katla volcano, which has not erupted since 1918. It is this longer than typical repose period that has led to speculation that an eruption may soon occur. Such an eruption could melt enough ice to trigger an enormous flash flood big enough to potentially obliterate the entire town. Well, almost the entire town. This church, located high on the hill, is believed to be the only building that could survive such a flood. In case of such an emergency, the people of Vik practice periodic drills and are trained to rush to the church at the first sign of an eruption. We got back in the car with the plan of heading to Reykjavik and staying in the bus hostel. But we ended up here instead. We set the car up to sleep for the night, made some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and then went to bed for the night. We woke up to a beautiful sunrise and a less than beautiful surprise.
We woke up this morning to our battery on the car being dead. So now we're leaving it right there and walking to the nearest gas station to try and get a jump from somebody. Luckily, Iceland is highly populated, so there's a lot of people.
After waiting for 2 hours, we got a taxi driver to take us back to the car and give us a jump.
We are headed back to Reykjavik to figure our shit out. And then we'll be back on the road and we'll be good. But that was an ordeal.
We checked into the bus hostel and then decided to go out to experience the Icelandic nightlife. While walking downtown, we stumbled across a bar called D10. The owners had just purchased the bar that day, and we were their first customers.
Thank you, guys.
We woke up the next morning ready to eat and stoked to get out on the road.
What's going to be really interesting is if the car starts. Spell name. Yeah. I'm amazed that I'm not hungover.
First stop, breakfast. After breakfast, we headed out Route 1, which is a national road in Iceland that runs around the whole island and connects most of the inhabited parts of the country. Some of the most popular tourist attractions can be found on or near Route 1. We decided to take this long gravel road, which ended up leading us to the glacier that lies on top of the Katla volcano, the one that we were talking about earlier when we were in Vik, the one that hasn't erupted in almost 100 years. Yeah, we went there. After we were done exploring the glacier, we ate some blueberry Greek yogurt, brushed our teeth, and then hit the road. Next stop, the Glacial Lagoon. Jordan decided that this would be a good spot for him to test his comfort zone. What he didn't realize is that he was testing mine too.
Balls to the wall.
I thought it was pretty stupid, but I also thought it was pretty awesome. He didn't fall, and we were stoked on the footage, so it was worth it.
My mom's gonna hate this.
We left the Glacial Lagoon and headed east towards the small fishing village of Hoffen. We stopped at a travel center looking for a place to camp for the evening. The guy who worked there, Peter, recommended that we camp at a spot outside of Hockefell, so that's where we headed. We found our spot to set up the tent, made dinner, got some night shots, and then hit the sack. Waking up to the cold Iceland air the next morning is always difficult, but the hunger definitely overcame the uncomfortable temperature. We made sure our hair looked good, did our morning yoga, packed up, and hiked back to the car. Our directions had us take road 939, but about halfway up, we discovered that the road was snowed in. We turned around and took Highway 1 all the way to Road 862 to Dedefoss. One of our favorite stops along the drive was the good old Olis gas station, so we decided to take a night and sleep in the parking lot to rest up for the remainder of our trip.
Stop in the morning, too, yeah?
After a somewhat comfortable night's sleep, we got on the road and made our way to Dedefoss.
So don't wait, for me to get home. I don't know my way back home. The light broke at the end of the tunnel. I don't know, I'm out on my own. I can't find my way back home.
Oh yeah, dude, lunch right here.
It's really cold in Iceland, like freezing.
After a delicious lunch at the falls and a brisk naked run through the canyon, we headed west for Kirkjufell Mountain. Although Instagram is awesome and can inspire us to appreciate the outdoors and build community around us, Instagram doesn't always do a good job of giving you an accurate expectation of what your location will actually look like. Not that this ruined it by any means, but we just thought that it was funny seeing it in person as we walked across this nicely built bridge going over the tiny waterfalls that look so magical in the photos. By now, the storm clouds had started rolling in and it was getting dark. It was time to find a place to camp for the night. Eventually we found a spot that we knew would make for a rough night, but we went for it anyways. We set up the tent, Jordan made dinner, and I fell asleep. Then, this happened. At 4 a.m., we were being kicked out. Iceland was literally kicking us out.
And we'll just keep on climbing until the day we die.
Immediately, we tore the tent down, packed up, and ran out of there.
Oh, how they make us pay when we do not walk their way with their hands in.
After that epic night in the storm, we headed back to Reykjavik for one last night in the bus hostel.
Check out our digs.
And the war is on the way. The war is on the way.
It's always nice to be home, but I'm really looking forward to getting out of the country again soon.
'Cause my war is on its way. My war is on its way.
and I am currently running in the parking lot to wake myself up to continue driving because I fell asleep. So I'm just running through this gas station.
I've been putting in the time, grinding my teeth. So won't you come and vouch for me?
Okay, the next thing that you're about to see looks cool, but it smells awful.
So now we wait as